for game number 1, Curse is going to be on first ban, first pick, and Shen immediately out of there. They know how much CLG likes that Shen on Hotshot, that split push action, that global presence. And oh, that's right, I forgot. Nidalee has the model remake and everything. They actually updated her picture.
Oh yeah, they do. That's kind of a manly. That looks like Hotshot almost. Look at that Nidalee picture. That's Hotshot. I mean, I guess it's a lady, but we'll see what's going on between these guys. I think one of the cool things between these teams is, like, I don't know, some of the dichotomies between the lane. Like Hotshot, not known. I mean, he's definitely a very strong top laner, but he's a very defensive top laner and not known for the best mechanical skill. Voyboy, on the other hand, is overly aggressive. So it's, you know, insane aggression, high mechanics top laner. So that's kind of like an interesting, you know, the two of them, defense versus offense. Double Lift is like the backbone of CLG and how much damage he can do out of the AD carry spot. But with the Season 3 patch, AD carries are just threatened so hard because there's so many assassins that can be played. And Curse is a team that already liked playing assassins. I mean, like, they're out of any of the teams in the world, they're a team that plays multiple assassin champions, which is not something we've seen a lot of, and that really threatens Double Lift a lot. And honestly, almost no AD carry in the game is safe right now. Like, it's way too difficult to protect an AD carry in a lot of fights because of how strong assassins are. So that's an interesting setup as well. You know, Nijaki, really strong mid versus Big Fat, Chalster versus Saint Vicious. I mean, that's going to be a cool one. CLG versus Curse. I mean, this is the main team versus the bench. This is right. I mean, that's like, we should change the overlay right now because it's CLG A versus CLG B, and CLG B is hoping that, you know, they've grown enough that they can take on and take down the A team. And I think they've definitely shown that they're there. I mean, they're one of the best NA teams right now. They're really looking really impressive.
And these are also the two top performing NA teams from IPL 5 also. You know, CLG actually taking the top spot. But then again, of course, let's face it, for the NA teams, it's not really saying a whole hell of a lot. But it's still, considering their performance, it's still something significant. So you got Cho'Gath, first pick up here for Curse. And you got the Graves and Desire, so it could be a bot lane established already for CLG.Prime. Yeah, that is the lock-in.
Yeah, it's a really strong bottom lane. Graves is kind of an interesting pick because he's short range, so against assassins, he's going to be in their range, but he has so much burst damage that maybe it doesn't matter. You know, maybe you can. The thought is you can get off a lot of damage quickly, and then he has the dash to get away. But we'll see where they go. Saint Vicious has been playing a lot of Cho'Gath in the jungle. It's a very strong champion. I honestly prefer him when he's playing an aggressive diving champion, but Nocturne is his best. Nocturne was banned. Shyvana is also very strong for him. So that could have been a possibility, but they didn't go with it. They could actually be doing Cho'Gath in one of the other lanes, though, and maybe go for a Mundo. That would be you know, definitely an interesting one to see.
It would be, you know, I also saw a few tweets yesterday from some of the members of Curse. And yeah, that's it. That's good. Just based on the tweets I saw yesterday, I'm saying that is a support Nautilus.
Oh, cool.
They've been playing with it quite a bit. They're favoring it, and yeah, it's season 3 stuff now. You might as well give some new stuff a shot.
There's Hotshot.
That's not no surprise there, but always welcome to see Hotshot on Nidalee, especially now with the model remake.
Yeah, no, it's definitely going to be cool to see what he can do in that top lane, but honestly, I'm a little bit surprised that CLG didn't take the Ezreal pick. I feel like Ezreal, even though he lost a lot of his strength in lane, just how safe he is in team fights is such a huge asset. But we'll see, you know, what Double Lift can do. And, you know, Graves is definitely one of the top 80 champions, or has been for some time, but kind of dropped off, kind of forgotten a little bit. But I don't know, they have kind of an interesting team because they have a nice setup for an AoE team. And then Nidalee, the main goal of the Nidalee is going to be to split off that top lane so that they can fight 4v4s around the map. And in those 4v4 situations, the AoE that they have is really going to be insane. You know, so if they can just combo on people, it'll help protect Graves. But we'll see where they're going with it.
It's a matter of still got the AP, still have a possible jungle or top lane still to be
Gragas
decided.
maybe.
Ooh.
Nope.
Urgot. Interesting. Really interesting.
I'm really curious. Maybe Voyboy is going to be playing Ezreal, and they send Urgot in that bottom lane, and that actually that kind of makes a little bit more sense with the Nautilus. So Nautilus is a very unusual support. He has a lot of CC. He can be fairly tanky, but he's very vulnerable to harass. So you need an 80 carry that can like hold his own, that can just bully people around. Ezreal can't really do that. Ezreal's a little bit more defensive. He has quick burst if Nautilus gets a hook, but Urgot has burst, and he can, fight in that 1v2, and he's tanky enough that he can take the quick damage. He's not going to die very quickly to the Graves Zyra combo. And then later on, they have a jungle gank come in with Cho'Gath. They Urgot swap into the Cho'Gath Rupture, into the Nautilus, pull Nautilus ultimate into the Urgot swap. I mean, there's so many different combination possibilities. So it's going to be really cool to see. And there's the TF pick. And we've seen in the past, Big Fat probably is one of his strongest champions, if not his strongest champion, is that TF. So definitely going to be a strong pick up there. But the concern for CLG has to be if they allow any early kills in that bot lane in particular, and if Nijaki comes down for kills, really quickly, Curse could snowball. And one mistake, one slip up versus this aggressive team from Curse, and that's GG. Like, that's just it.
That's it, because you have the Urgot, you have Nautilus to really isolate anyone else and get them out of position. And when you have a Katarina on your team, one of the most important things you can do is ensure that you get that reset, so you can keep your damage output up. You have your abilities all up, because that's what AP casters, that's what they need. You need to wait for your cooldown so you can do your damage.
And it not only gives them single target pickoff potential, which allows Kat to get her refresh and get kills early on, but they also have a very tanky frontline team. It's Cho, Urgot, and Nautilus, and it's going to be Urgot top. So
interesting.
That's definitely interesting. I've actually seen it once before, but we'll go into that in a second. But they have this insanely tanky frontline. So they're just the three of these guys just holding down the fort. And that prevents Nijaki from having to threaten himself quite as much. Because Nijaki, if he gets caught in the AoE from CLG, he's done. But, those frontline guys, they can try and bait out some of those AoEs, get people low, and then Ezreal and Katarina can try and turn things around.
All right, so you mentioned you've seen Urgot top before. Yeah. I can't recall anything in recent memory. Well, actually, can't recall much Urgot play really at all, except from SGS at IPL 5, and that was like.
So I haven't seen. Yeah, SGS plays at some. People have been playing Urgot or haven't played Urgot in a while. I actually haven't seen Urgot top in about 6 months or so. Wow. And it was back when Urgot, probably more than that actually, but it was back when Urgot was played as an AD carry, and people were trying double ADs top. Urgot is insanely strong as a top lane. I mean, he has a lot of harass. He can win any matchup, basically. The only concern with Urgot is against an aggressive top laner, one that has like diving potential that can just jump on you and force a fight. And with a jungle gank, Urgot's dead. Like that, you can't do anything against it. If you're playing against like an Aurelia or an Olaf or a Jax or any number of champions, they jump onto Urgot, they chase him down, the jungler follows up, and you get a kill very easily. However, it's versus Nidalee, and Nidalee is such a passive top laner. Nidalee can't do anything. I mean, she has some burst damage on her own. She can control the lane effectively on her own. But as far as setting up ganks, Nidalee does very little, and Amumu is really easy to get away from as well. So that being said, that means that Urgot's going to be pretty safe in that top lane. And Urgot in the top lane is just, it has a lot of damage. And, particularly since you want to go Brutalizer early and you want to build tanky and get cooldown reduction early. So it has a lot of damage. He's getting in his kicks before the Brutalizer's nerfed. So I have to imagine that has something, to do with how strong that's going to be.
Let's, Voyboy, since he's been one of the most creative players and most outreaching to play new champs actually in the past few recent weeks, I do want to take a look at these matches.
Mana regen. He doesn't need any defensive stuff because he knows he's going to be pretty safe. So he needs the mana. It gives him that spam ability in lane. So he can just really be aggressive. Yeah, and
also, now some of the items, I can actually see Voyboy trying to get that Mana Mune or into the more mana pretty quickly too, because I imagine that's gotta hurt.
Yeah,
immensely.
That's actually a really good point, because it deals for every single target spell and attack. It deals a percentage of your mana, and that'll synergize very well with Urgot if he gets that. 80 Nidalee, so to be expected. I mean, 80 is really the only build that people go now. You see AP mid Nidalee some, but in the top lane it's usually going to be 80. So he does have a mix of both, though. He has some ability power. So, and the cooldown reduction is always going to be strong, but he has some ability power. So we'll see where he's doing with what he's doing with that. It could help with some spear harass, help with some heals. But here we go, guys. CLG.NA versus Curse.NA. CLG.NA versus their bench, basically.
Yep.
But we'll see what both of these guys can do, and it's definitely going to be an interesting matchup.
Yeah, these are still two right now like two of the top 3 teams in the NA, and both teams we're stepping outside the bounds. Curse getting very creative. They've been really open to playing new champs, trying to play new strategies. Urgot top, why not? Season 3, let's give it a try. Nautilus support, sure, why not? Elements, let's do it. So they've been tweeting a lot about how well it's been working recently, and we're about to see it for ourselves today. And Hotshot showing off the new Nidalee remodel with Snowbunny Nidalee, so actually being quite festive.
Oh, that's just lovely. Where's Snowbunny?
Let's go see. There we go.
Right up there.
There we go. Hotshot. You don't have to hide by. Yeah, granted it's not snowing on Summer's Rift this year, but you don't have to hide behind the shopkeeper. We're good. We're okay. Nice.
All right, so coming in this game, we'll see what's going on. Level 1 for Curse is really, really strong. CLG has a decent level 1 with Zyra and TF, but Curse's level 1 is insanely good. So we'll see what Curse is trying to do, if they try and invade or anything like that. It doesn't look like it. They're kind of splitting off here, but it's kind of a defensive start. And I think it might be that Curse doesn't want to threaten blowing any early fights, or maybe they don't have that much confidence or anything like that. And they just want to know that they're going to be safe in their lanes and get off to a safe start. So, yeah, so they'll just sit back. I'm a little surprised they didn't try and invade. I mean, that could definitely set Amumu behind.
Yeah, it's usually the common thing to go invade Amumu's blue, but...
I do love, though, how the Hunter's Machete is opening up so many paths for so many junglers. And Amumu, Rammus, even Sejuani, any number of junglers that were they were slow junglers potentially. Yeah. Amumu had pretty good AoE clear if you had the blue, but they were slow junglers, and now with the Hunter's Machete, you don't have to worry about getting put behind as much. The issue with those junglers was if you make any misstep early on, if you die or anything, then you fall behind and you just have no comeback mechanic. You can't kill the creeps fast enough in order to get levels. So it's really nice to see that option.
And also, but we are seeing the ADs now start to stick a lot to the Longsword 1 pot, because now Vamp Scepter, you need the Longsword to itemize into it. You can't just buy it straight away anymore. So while we're seeing some more versatility in nearly all the other lanes, it seems like ADs actually started to set into just the one initial item build.
Yeah, it's still sometimes beneficial to go boots in 3 pots, but the movement speed changes were definitely huge. It's much safer for ADs now. You don't need that movement speed. The movement speed would still help, particularly against skill shot champions like Nautilus, but it doesn't really need it, and it gives them a little bit more burst damage. So it really, you just play effectively and try not to let people chase you down.
Yep. Elements not being so festive today. He's actually still got the Halloween boards. He's still using those while he still can. No Teemo cookies for him just quite yet. Cho'Gath making his way down to the red. Amumu will be there soon also. Actually, they're both doing the wraiths. Let's also check in with Hotshot Nidalee GG up top lane. See how he's doing. This is what Nidalee does. Dip in and out of the brush, so you still have that constant movement speed, so the passive keeps proccing at the very least. Because once those levels start to accrue on Voyboy, you need to evade that acid, otherwise that's going to be quite a heavy deal of damage.
Yeah, I mean, it is going to be pretty painful. Voyboy on Urgot, you don't really expect that much aggression from Urgot for the first couple of levels, but once he gets the lock on, and then in particular level 4 when he gets the slow and the lock on, so you get one auto attack with the shield up with the slow, it allows you to hit the Acid Hunter a little bit more easily, and then you can just chase him down. And Nidalee doesn't have a lot of armor early on. I mean, he has a lot because of runes and masteries, but base isn't very high. So Voyboy is going to be able to deal a significant chunk of damage. Yeah. Not a lot of base health either. So, very quickly, Nidalee could be pushed out of that lane.
And you also notice, too, Voyboy actually waited until he dinged level 3 to actually spend those first 2 points. Muffin Cutie getting caught by the hook. Here in the bot brush, you have the vines, too, to keep elements slow to the very least. Actually choosing to walk back through the slow in the brush, but he will still be fine. St. Vicious in the mid. Rupture will miss Big Fat, and he will drop his card from his deck as he now returns to lane.
Yeah, so Nijaki doing a nice job in that lane. It should be pretty even, but in particular, if Big Fat uses a card on any creeps or anything like that, it opens up an opportunity later on for Nijaki to just burst him down. And burst assassins do very well against TF, but we'll see what's going on. I think it's really interesting, though, Elements playing Nautilus, and one of the things that kind of differentiated Elements from other supports and from Rux in particular has been aggression and ability to, or lane presence and ability to take awareness away from the AD carry. But in this situation, Saint coming in.
Caught by the Rupture. Silence will miss as Big Fat flashes out, but the dive is still going on. First blood going to Nijaki there in the mid with a little bit of help from that Ignite. But Amumu is still in the neighborhood, though. The bandage toss does keep Nijaki under duress, but he should actually be able to make it to the side. Bandage toss once again, grabbing the stun. St. Vicious with the Rupture Silence down to Chowster. Still has the AoE up and running. Will be enough damage. Will St. Vicious go down? Yes, he will. Chowster, Nijaki standoff. Who will emerge from the brush first? It will be
Chowster hits a bandage toss, then he is going to win.
Almost grabbed that blade. Bouncy blade only getting the one hit. Shunpo will be enough damage. No, Chowster still lives here in the mid, picking up a delayed double.
Yeah, so really nice play there from Chowster getting in position. But Muffin Cutie chasing down Cop for a second, just teasing him. I think he was waiting to see if he could bait out the Arcane Shift or get some quick damage from Cop. And then while he's in mid-animation, go for the snare. But they do back off. And so going back to Elements, one of the interesting things is Elements, a lot of times, he plays a little bit more defensively on supports. So, he, like with Blitzcrank, for example, Blitzcrank's a support that has a lot of lane presence and is able to force fights where the enemy AD carry is focused on Blitzcrank, and that leaves open Cop to deal a lot of damage. But if you look at the other side, wow, Voyboy actually going in for this, almost taking down Hotshot, but takes a couple of turret shots there, and now the heal getting him back to advantage. But Elements, he tends to sit back, play a little more defensively, and wait until he hits hooks. Nautilus, on the other hand, he's a little bit more aggressive than Blitzcrank is, so it forces that lane presence. If he gets a hook, rather than pulling him to himself, he pulls himself into the enemy team. That draws attention away from Cop and will allow him to be very aggressive there. And then also not having to use the knock-up, just the automatic snare with the passive, and the bonus damage is very strong. So we'll see what they can do there. But Zyra, if played correctly, you can play very defensively. You can just throw out the snare and then just retreat. And then, Nautilus is going to take a lot of damage in return.
Hook on to Muffin Cutie, though, will pull him out of the brush. Meanwhile, top lane, Voyboy actually taking out Hotshot inside the brush. Neither one of the tops, they both got stubborn. Neither one was going to leave just quite yet. And despite Hotshot having the innate heals on Nidalee, does go down in that exchange.
And we see in this bot lane, once again, they're kind of just squaring off. And, good ward coverage from both of them. Elements trying to just aggressively go for hooks as opposed to just, I feel like a lot of other supports would just kind of chase them down a little bit more. And by, rather than going for hooks and just being like, all right, who can I find? If you force fights, then you can take a lot of pressure off of Cop. But he's definitely seemed pretty comfortable so far. I'm excited to see how that lane continues to progress. And top lane in particular, Nidalee getting very tanky, recognizing that Voyboy just deals so much damage to him. So doesn't want to go down anymore in the future.
It looks like is Voyboy actually going to be past the blue here? It seems it will help us swing the advantage there in the top lane. He already got that first kill, and with that extra mana, he can secure a few more, and he also has that tier. So we should be seeing that Manamune coming out pretty soon as he gets the money. Got the pause coming in just real quick, and it's interesting. I'm liking Voyboy's play top lane, especially now at this point in the game. And we've seen him go outside of his boundaries a little bit, especially like Lone Star Clash, like the first one where he tried out that Nautilus. Not Elements, not Nautilus. Nasus. They both begin with N. That's close enough. And it's good. It's good to see him branch out. It's actually good to see the rest of the team following suit.
Voyboy's always been one of the most creative top laners. He's always played champions that people don't really expect. His mechanics are just incredible. Saint, he actually just tweeted or made a comment recently about how he thinks that Voyboy could 1v1 any other top laner in the game. But the funny thing about that is that also goes to Voyboy's other issues, which is while he's a very aggressive and mechanically sound top laner and can win those 1v1 matchups, already winning against Hotshot there, he also sometimes kind of ignores the jungler and gets himself caught out of position. And that's always going to be a concern for Voyboy, but we'll see how that kind of affects the game plan from now on. And I don't know whether or not Chowster can start putting some pressure up on that top lane.
Well, I think
the only issue is, like, again, Nidalee's not the most aggressive top laner.
Well, this is why I think Urgot is a good pick for us, because even if he does get caught, we talked about this before, he is a relative... Urgot's a pretty tanky dude. He's got that shield. I think he'll be doing okay at the very least for this game.
And honestly, if he is getting ganked, it's not that difficult for Urgot to get away from an Amumu gank.
Right.
Chalster coming up, we'll see what actually happens. But if Chalster comes down from the south of him, Voyboy's just going to try and swap away potentially, or just dodge the bandage toss. He sees him there. It's not that difficult to dodge Amumu's toss.
Yeah, it's just just having some level of awareness is usually more than enough. Sometimes just stop moving, just hit that Esky. But here's the thing, though. You got TF now coming in. There is the port going top lane. Yellow card, the swap, actually, I think canceled out by Voyboy. Bandage toss barely missing. The Urgot hotshot wants this kill, though, and does grab it up in the Cougar form. Amumu not enough. TF more than enough.
Yeah, now Muffin Cutie, he's actually on the opposite side of the carries.
What?
I don't understand what's going on because Cop could be getting free damage right now on Muffin Cutie, and he's not attacking him. That doesn't even make any sense.
I think they're
I literally have no. I mean, they really are. That's like the only excuse. Element's just chasing down Muffin Cutie by himself. It's a support fight. He's going in for it, but Zyra trying to turn it around here.
Double lift.
They're just doing support versus support and 80 carry versus 80 carry.
Yeah, it's just everyone off onto the side. St. Fish is taking quite a bit of damage, though. Double lift breaking the rules. One more shot. No, the consume. More than enough to take out the Graves.
He broke the Armistice. He broke the truce, and he paid for it.
This is war. This is absolute war. Hell, about to break loose in bot lane. But nice kills down there from both teams. You got the Amumu ult back once again here top lane, keeping Voyboy under wraps. Acid on the hot shot, but it's not going to matter because that is a dead Urgot. Leaping away, should heal, should be fine, and that is a second kill for Hotshot GG in such a very short amount of time.
And now we know definitively with that jungle gank that Hotshot is the greatest top laner in the world. So some quick pressure. He definitely has the mobility and now the damage to kind of go toe-to-toe with Urgot. So we'll kind of see how that lane's going to progress. I thought that Urgot would be a little bit safer, but that's always been an issue with Urgot is just how easy it is to gank him. I thought that with the Nidalee it wouldn't be that much of a concern, but clearly it is. So we'll kind of see how that progresses. And Hotshot, with all the armor and health and everything that he has, he doesn't really need to worry about much pressure from Voyboy in that lane because he can just heal up through any of the damage. Getting the red buff for himself, so now he can actually abuse Urgot in that lane and just, win that 1v1.
Yep. And also, just if in case he needed to, Big Fat on TF can always come in with a port and get that 3-man gank once again at top lane. It actually looks, he puts a ward down actually up at the top side of a river there in mid. So just in case he needs to use that port again, he knows that he won't be ambushed while he is en route, because TF's ult is not as good as it used to be. You still need to walk a little bit of a distance. Nautilus ult used on double lift, popped up, followed up by the anchor. The barrier will not be enough to save him.
Incredibly rude, because you could tell double lift, he was actually talking at the time that they came in for that gank. So, very, very rude there. But, I mean, that's the threat of the Nautilus and the Cho'Gath. It's a very aggressive combo. Nautilus just uses the knockup. Cho follows up. It's just very difficult to get away from it. And now Curse, they're going to be able to pressure this dragon. Nijaki drops a ward. He's going to be safe there. Oh, he actually has the little Teemo cookie ward. Oh. So if you guys haven't seen that yet, I haven't seen it yet. There's the little Teemo cookie ward.
He dances.
But they are able to grab that dragon.
The Teemo cookie dances. If it wasn't enough that Teemo cookie was delicious, he also is pretty funky. That's more than I could ever want. I'm totally happy by this patch now.
And Hotshot taking down the turret very quickly. TF actually porting in. He could get that stun, but Voyboy just flashing out the flash from Big Vet to turn it around.
Man.
They pick up the kill very quickly.
Not enough. The flashes was not enough to pursue the gold card. You have the stun, and now Voyboy, he's got a very rough time. He's now at a 2-level deficit as opposed to Hotshot. And what a difference a few minutes can make it a little bit of attention from your team. Chowster here in the mid. Being an annoyance tonight, Jackie will not get the tantrum, but Jackie's just fine. He can farm his own. And Elements, in order to dissuade this push, has to have his presence here in the top lane, but I'm not sure how much he's actually going to do.
This is something that CLG, they really like going for a lot. Once they get the one tower down, they like going for the second tower very quickly.
Yeah.
And if you don't respond as a team, if Katarina doesn't come immediately when that first tower went down, Nijaki needed to come over, because this is something that CLG does almost every single game. If they get one turret down, they go for the second one. But Curse actually catching out CLG. They're way out of position right now.
Elements with the flash to anchor down Hotshot. Big Fat caught over on the side, though. Boy with a little bit of assistance on the revenge. Does get an assist credit for it, should help bring him back, but Hotshot caught once again here by an anchor. Elements in pursuit, but decides to back off. He knows that with the rest of his team distracted by the blue buff, he's not going to be able to do a whole hell of a lot. Hotshot will be safe, though. He will fall back, and same thing with Chowster going back, retreating into his own jungle. And Elements, he will be bringing himself back down. Actually, he's going to be going scouting out over at enemy blue. Chowster taking it right here. But Elements, he's a little bit too far deep in. The rest of his team needs to go here immediately, but it is too late. Smite, grab that blue, secured.
Yeah, so they will back off. An even game so far, 6-6. Katarina pushing down the mid lane there. But as far as the AD carries, when you look at them, there's still a really nice advantage for Ezreal. And in particular, Doublelift in a really dangerous spot here. So Nautilus going to be coming down. Muffin Cutie trying to force it, but he's very low, and now they can maybe get a double kill here.
True shot barrage, no anchor necessary. That is actually no assist on Elements. Cop did it all on his own. I'm sure Elements a little upset he didn't get at least something on that, but it's okay, it's fine. You still got the kill. Hook, though, landing on a double lift. Anchors him just for a second, a little bit extra bonus damage, but this should be enough time cleared.
Oh, they could die for this, though. Elements has his ultimate. If he gets double lift in range, he just backs off a step, so yeah, they're just going to take this turret.
They're more than happy with that turret. A little bit of global gold. That swings the gold lead into their favor by about 1,500, which is still significant here at the pre-20-minute mark.
Yeah, so they'll back off. It means that they can't abuse that bot lane quite as much. So taking down that bottom turret, it probably means the double lift will be pretty safe to farm. But we'll see how it continues. Neither or Nijeki not or doing too bad for himself. So he's pretty significantly ahead of Big Fat right now. Even though Big Fat seems to have been putting a little bit more pressure on so far, particularly in that top lane, giving Hotshot a 2-level advantage against Boy. But I don't know. We'll kind of see what happens if they can try and shut down the Katarina, because really the team for Curse, it's designed to just get Katarina involved, and one good Katarina fight, and it's GG.
That acid doing way too much damage to follow up. But here's TF Port in the mid. They shumpo away. Jackie struggling to get out of there, but does manage to make it off onto the side, but will be cornered by Azara. Has to retreat from whence he came. Pop up from Nautilus, keeping TF still. Now Jackie, can you escape here? Is ignited. Forced out to use the flash, but he's just on the side, just barely taking away the health in the double digits. Will make it out of there. True shot barrage missing the Chowster, but St. Vicious is there to pick it up. It's not safe for you to recall right there, Katarina, but will back on out. Boy taking a turret shot or two, and that is 2 quick kills. Onto Curse's credit, but 2 very low champs, a very low jungler and a very low mid.
Yeah, so they will all back off, be very safe there, but Curse, oh no! Elements! Elements, you bastard! Moving out of the way, he gets him killed. Hotshot with the spear, but Curse so far. Oh, Elements almost going down as well, trying to hook out of there.
That's a pause, because right now, Nijaki is running over to Element's desk, and he's just like smacking him relentlessly.
That was horrible.
I am
that
making a note of that. That is going on flops. That is
that's a pretty good flop.
That's a pretty good flop.
But so far, Curse, taking a nice little advantage in this game, but CLG definitely in it right now. Hotshot very close to picking up this kill. He's just going to pounce on Elements and try and grab that. But I think it's interesting what they've been doing with the support Nautilus. And the big reason a lot of people have shied away from support Nautilus for a long time is he's actually kind of squishy, considering he's a melee early on. He seems pretty tanky. I mean, you can very quickly get tanky with Nautilus, and as you build up your shield, you're a very strong tank later in the game. But it's pretty easy to burst down the shield and kite him. But now with a lot of the nerfs to some of those standard supports that we've seen, there's an opportunity, because a lot of the supports now, they're a little squishier. Nami's a very aggressive support, but she's pretty squishy. Lulu, is actually probably one of the tankier ones. Zyra's generally safe, but she still is kind of squishy. And one of the cool things about Nautilus is he's one of the most CC champs in the game. He has so many abilities. His passive, his hook, his shield, gives he has his slow from the E, his ultimate, and with how much aggression there is onto 80 carries, we were talking about this before, a lot of times it's really difficult to protect 80 carries with the Season 3 patch, just because all these assassins can dive onto him. But Nautilus just gives you so much peel potential for both Ezreal and Katarina that later on in team fights, he's definitely going to be a really safe pick.
And now moving into Season 3, like one of the biggest buffs that across the board that could have happened was the movement speed buff on everybody, because that was one of his biggest faults, and actually why you started to see him less and less as a jungler. We'll get back to that in just a second, because it looks like Elements
the exhaust.
You shall pay for that. How dare you leave your teammate to fall? We stopped seeing Nautilus in the jungle a lot because of that low movement speed, and he really needed that initial money to get those boosts and get rolling early, but it just was not there. But now that everyone's a little bit speedier, he's a little bit more viable now.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him in the jungle again.
Yep,
with the Huntress Machete. But I don't know, he's always been like late game just because he's such a high CC tank. He's always, like when he was played, one of the greatest late game tanks just because of how much CC he has. And so I really wouldn't be surprised to see him just come back into full swing coming up. We'll see what goes on. Take a look at some of the items real quick. Graves going with the Black Cleaver. So it's still the greatest item that man has ever known. When man looked up at the stars and dreamed of, challenging the moon, he saw the Black Cleaver. And we've seen in the past Brutalizer builds on Graves before.
Yes.
Because it gives you cooldown reduction, it gives you really quick burst in team fights, which is just awesome. But one of the cool things with this, is the patch out?
Yeah, patch is out. It's a unique passive.
I didn't know the patch was out. I literally didn't realize. And so I just looked down and saw +10 armor pen, and I went, oh, the patch is out.
Yeah.
So Brutalizer Graves has been common in the past, but now that it has an upgrade, it makes it a little bit more viable. And also, when you have an aggressive team like Urgot and Nautilus that's going to dive onto Graves, having a little bit more HP never hurts.
Right. That's one of the things that's been missing. Well, that you just don't get from any build path on nearly every AD.
He is missing out on a number of things, though. He's missing out on attack speed. He's missing out on crit damage. There's a big weakness to going that Brutalizer build, but as far as AoE, it combos just so well with his other abilities, and then he's just planning on itemizing into those other things, as the game progresses.
And it also helps piggyback on what's going to be happening in future team fights, because Hotshot building the AD round, actually going for the training, so that's going to help his damage output immensely, and also whatever auto attacks that you'll see TF get out. That is the quick gold card down onto the Katarina, trying to get back into the lane, but will not be enough. Where is TF porting to? Is he going to be going anywhere? Down bot, wants to get a catch on the Cop, uses the cleanse immediately. Mystic Shot, Batwurger's not going to be finding a spark. Nice bandage from Chowster. You have no cleanse anymore. You cannot escape from this. Shut down onto the Ezreal. Meanwhile, mid lane, tier 2 does fall. Hotshot out in front, still looking for more damage. The hook from Elements, looking for the pop-up. Voyboy, can you get either? It looks like he will, but keeping Elements under wraps.
Oh, the chain CC is insane.
That is way too crazy. The coordination from CLG here is amazing.
Yeah, and they're going to drop this turret. They're going to probably get an inhibitor out of it. They are kind of low, so they have to watch out. St. Vicious, if Chauster hits him, just zoning him off there, so they're not going to go for it, but they get the turret. They might not even go for this inhibitor. There might not be enough time. It looks like they're going to back off. Yeah, so Cop's coming back up. The rest of the team has so much lockdown. They don't want to risk that, but that was perfect for CLG. And if they get down that mid inhibitor, the split pushing for CLG is just going to overrun this game.
Yeah.
So, just putting on that map pressure is definitely going to be huge. Curse, though, if they catch someone out, this could be big for them. It could turn into a Baron potentially. Chauster a little bit out of position. Nijaki trying to chase him down so that Voyboy can maybe catch up and get a kill.
Shenpo over to the ward, followed up by a blade, but Chauster waddling away. Should make it out even if you need an escape path. Gold card, keeping Katarina still. Shenpo still to a ward. And St. Vicious actually on the other side. Nice bandage toss from Chauster to the small golems to help readjust his positioning. And CLG
They're going for the Baron.
There.
St. Vicious just flashes over the wall because he is hardcore going for this. They know they don't have a lot of time. He didn't want to waste his time walking around.
This is a full-on commitment. If Curse does not get this Baron right now, they'll be
they
so
need Voyboy's
far
damage,
behind.
though.
Voyboy is off, too busy, preoccupied with the many members of CLG trying to make their way in. Now he's damaging the Baron. It may be too late. Amumu off on the side along with the Graves. Zyra ult popping up 3 members of Curse.NA. Double it with the ultimate immediately, and then GTFO's Cop with the flash wants to pursue. Can he make it out? Nice Mystic Shot and the Phage proc, but no, you will be left behind by the Amumu.
Oh, the Ezreal ult gets him.
Wow.
Gets Graves, and now Big Fat teleporting onto Voyboy, picks up another kill, but CLG turned that around masterfully. The Arcane Shift from Cop to get out of there. Hotshot still in pursuit. The Rupture barely gets them out of there. But this is going to be an inhibitor for CLG. And that previous fight, Curse, they couldn't take it down fast enough. They tried to force it. Saint drops as well, but Nijacky's going to try and turn this around. Jumps onto Big Fat. He will go down.
Wow.
That's easily an inhibitor for CLG now.
This could be game. This could be game. This is a full 30 seconds till both St. Vicious and
Well, they're a little low, so
yeah,
there's very little threat of that. But the inhibitor, at the very least, it could result in a
Right.
game as it progresses.
Yeah, this is, or even then, just the demoralization of Curse. They just there's a potential they may just surrender here too. But
Elements wants it, the flash!
He's hungry. There is the ultimate down on the hot shot, but is the damage there and the exhaust, and he can't catch up. The pounce.
Oh,
is
no!
Gets out of the hook. Hot shot on Nidalee. This is why you never allow him to have her.
Well, and he doesn't have any damage. The Ezreal ult trying to see if he can pick anyone off. It's not going to grab anyone. It hits Muffin Cutie. Not quite sure where Hotshot was going, so goes for the blind one.
It was a good guess. It was a good guess.
That previous Baron, they knew they wanted to rush it. And Void Boy, he was zoning off Nidalee and Zyra, which is great. I mean, they didn't want them poking them down. He knew that if he didn't zone them, they would just slowly wear them down. But I think he probably needed to be in that Baron pit because they didn't have enough damage to take down the Baron, and as a result, CLG was able to come in, just hit a beautiful AoE with the Zyra ult on everyone, and really quickly turn that around. So we'll see how it works. It's only 2k Goldie right now, but CLG now with the split push potential and having that inhibitor down, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
So, Curse definitely needs to be careful, but split pushing is very threatened by quick kill potential, and Curse, they have that. They can easily, just grab one member out of the blue, drop them, and try and pick up kills to bring them back in.
I just realized that's actually not the Phage proc on Cop. He's actually he actually got the gauntlet there. I've
actually seen that before on
Iceborne
Ezreal.
Gauntlet, yeah.
It's such a broken item. Really? We haven't seen it happen on a lot of bruisers yet, but I've seen it on Ezreal before, and the thing with that item, you don't have damage early on in the game. It gets ability power, armor, and mana. So early on, he's a lot weaker than you normally expect Ezreal to be. Later on in the game, though, it's an AoE slow on his Mystic Shot. So just think about how strong that is as they're coming in, trying to defend this, but CLG, they get the Baron down too quickly.
St. Vicious was not with the team. He is way too far back. He's already back in base, and Void Boy split off from the rest of the team, forced to flash out of the Baron.
They're held in there, though.
They are still trapped, and Nijackie wants the reset, but cannot get a second kill following the first. Void Boy off on the side, taking care of Hotshot and Chester, but does go down in the process. Big Fat hooked in. Double lift, left to his own devices, though, and the Nautilus ult doesn't even finish. St. Vicious late to the party, but I don't think he's going to be making it out alive.
Well, Double Lift has the red buff. They should be able to chase them down.
There's
the bandage toss. St. Vicious going to drop, trying to get the Rupture. Can't quite get Double Lift.
No.
So there's the kill. And now they have the potential to really do some damage to CLG's base. They're going to be able to get at least one turret here, maybe the base turret. But we'll see where they stop after that. They might just go back now, but they're pretty close to taking this base turret.
Yeah, this is nearly, this is a guaranteed tier 3 in top. The minions, the super minions are pushing, but at the very least, this is the initial resistance, that initial waves. Hope to take care of it. Is the damage enough to take down the inhib?
Oh, God, no. Definitely not. Urgot's just going to walk up and swap and kill Double Lift.
That would be bad.
But that last fight, it was wild. Cop, when Double Lift was as low as he was, Cop just kind of underestimated him. He thought that, all right, Double Lift's basically dead, stopped attacking him when he should have just dove for the kill. And then Double Lift was able to turn it around with the CC that they had as a team to pick up those kills and in that pit. But, especially the burst, the TF stun onto Nijackie, Big Fat had that ready to go. So that, just getting that stun card out as quickly as he did was very strong. Yeah.
Also noticing, too, we got the new the buff effects. Also
yeah, they're pretty cool looking.
That's immensely easier to read.
Really? I think it's actually a little bit less noticeable.
Well, that's also the thing. Take a look at Double Lift right now, because he has all three. And it's just, you look at the bottom, you look at the base of his character, you have all three rings there. So
yeah, it's pretty cool, but I still think the other ones were a little bit easier to see, but it looks a little snazzier now. It's not, I think the big thing is it's not as big and out in the forefront, so it's less easy to see, but the idea is they don't want it to get in the way of other animations.
Right.
They don't want in the middle of a team fight to have these massive explosions and you're not sure what's going on because there's already a little circle around them.
As if the elixir or as the glowing wasn't enough. It just if you have everything, you should just be like a big white square, just traversing across the map. Like I have everything. That's why I want to let you know.
Now CLG pushing down the bot lane. St. Vicious split from his team. He's still pushing top. He hasn't decided to recall yet. So this could be a really quick win for them. TF actually ports in, I think. Cop over on the other side trying to zone Hotshot here, but he's going down pretty quickly.
Jouster, bandage toss in, gets the Curse of the Sad Mummy on 3 members of Curse, but the rest of the team is just not there. They decided to fall back behind. That was a big miscommunication from CLG, actually.
Yeah, it was pretty disorganized. I thought that Big Fat was going to teleport in and they were going to just fight, but it was a 5v4 that they just lost because they weren't organized, and then Curse did a really nice job of just going back, retreating, kiting a little bit, and doing some damage. But in the meantime, not only does Curse win that fight, but Saint is just bullying down their base. So he gets a turret. See what else he can get.
So he's definitely going to get some damage on the top 2 or 3. Inhibitor, the rest of CLG will have spawned by then. He decides to break away. Night Jackie recalling Void Boy also walking on back. And Curse recognizes they need to back off a little bit, and they need to just make sure that they don't blow.
He just finished it.
Ooh, nice.
So he just finished his tier, and I actually thought it was interesting that making sure he gets the Black Cleaver and that Brutalizer build before he finishes the Man Immune, because it won't really give him enough damage, but it still gives him the tier to charge that up, so that now he can transition into the Man Immune and very quickly get that Muramani.
Yeah, he needs the money to. I think he's got enough money to do so too. Let's see how much he's just barely there. He's just barely there. So I think it's like 1,000 for the combine. I'm not sure. I think I'm a little off.
I think maybe. I
don't
really know the item costs for some of the new ones yet.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Even though it's an old item.
Yeah, it's so weird, like seeing all the adjustments too. It's like chain. I remember what a chain vest cost. Blah blah blah. Okay, now I feel old. Damn. The bandage toss from Chouster will not get him over the wall, but that is a red secured there for St. Vicious at the very least. Minions still pushing up here in the mid. The super minions have actually dissipated. The inhibitor in mid has respawned for Curse, so it's still killing a few more minutes for them to defend. But also remember, the Baron does have to respawn eventually, and when it does, we can expect a mad dash to pick it up real quick, because grabbing that would actually secure CLG the game, provided they don't split off and give themselves up once again. Well,
right now CLG, if they hit that bandage, that could have been brutal. But CLG, they have the pressure on the base. They're really threatening them a lot. There's the snare going off. Chouster just flashes in ultimates.
The ultimate on the 4 members of Curse.NA Rupture, only getting Muff and Curie, but Chouster still off on the side, keeping St. Vicious distracted. But Muff and Curie got low.
I just want to point out real quick, Hotshot, how tanky he is, and one of the issues with going with that Iceborne Gauntlet build on Ezreal is he still doesn't have quite the damage that you would expect. He's 250 AD, which is nice, but he doesn't have any attack speed other than his passive. He doesn't have any crit. He doesn't have any armor pen other than the Brutalizer, but that's only 10 armor pen. So he doesn't have Last Whisper yet. And all these things that he's being slowed down by getting this item, once he fills out his entire item build, the Iceborne Gauntlet is insanely strong. Like, it's incredible. But right now, he's a little weak. And that last fight, Cop was attacking Hotshot constantly. They were just 1v1ing, and Hotshot was actually winning that 1v1 because he has the Last Whisper, so he has damage, but he has just a ton of armor, and that attack speed slow onto Ezreal just completely shut down any of his damage. So in that fight, Cop was attacking constantly. He didn't do anything, though. And so that's a serious concern for them. They need Cop to have the damage to take people down, and that's always one of the threats with Ezreal compared with other AD carries that maybe have attack speed steroids or just inherent damage like Vayne or Cog.
The Black Cleaver is coming, though, and we'll see that as well pretty soon. Hotshot being rooted by Nuts off on the side. Element to split away from the rest of the team, but CLG still poking back on Curse here in the mid. Element's rejoins the hook, going nowhere. Huge misplay from Elements, and swap gun for Void Boy going deep into the back end, but dies the moment he gets there. TF ult, not necessary to get the kill on St. Vicious, but he will use it to melt Night Jackie. Big Fat does not live, but you have the rest of the team triple kill for Double Lift. The pursuit continues on Cop. One more auto attack. That is the slow from the red buff. Uses the cleanse. Cop needs to get away from this, but even when he does, the push will be too strong. 4 members of CLG still alive. This is pretty much game.
Yeah, this is GG. They're going to be able to push into the Nexus here, and CLG just running them down. their front line was a little bit too tanky. So Curse, even though they have a tanky high CC front line, they didn't have enough damage to back it up.
Yeah.
And as a result, it allowed CLG to just be extremely aggressive in just running straight at Curse, pick off targets, just bully their way through the CC that Curse has, bully their way through their front line. There's the snare going back. The Zyra ultimate as well. Double F trying to pick up this kill. Element's over on the side here. He does back off, but there's the hook into Double F. They might be able to pick up this kill, maybe get something off of it.
Two-shot barrage helps deal all the damage necessary to not only take out Graves, but deal quite a bit to the rest of CLG. Shift over the wall. Cop grabs the kill above the key, and Chouster is slowed, is not going anywhere. Uses the ultimate to try and retreat a few more inches and will be wasted. Hotshot does have the pounds. He can get away at the very least. But you also see Big Fat has respawned. His ultimate is almost back up, but he's pushing back on top lane. And now CLG is in retreat. They were at the Nexus. They had one more turn to go and just could not finish the job.
And Curse, they're getting greedy here. They're going for the inhibitor. Like in this kind of situation, you have to make the decision. Inhibitor is more valuable than the Baron, but everyone's about to spawn for CLG, and that was a free Baron that they could have taken. And I don't think they're going to be able to take this inhibitor from CLG. If they can, then it was absolutely the right decision. But it's going to be tough. There's only a couple of seconds left. They're taking the turret. They're actually going to be able to get it, so the turret drops, and they're going to have enough damage to take this before CLG gets in there. So absolutely the perfect decision from Curse. I didn't think they were going to be able to do it fast enough, but they do, and now the only question is if they can get out of there, but it seems like they're going to be okay.
And there's still enough time. The super minions up top lane have not gotten yet to the base. There was some time they could actually pressure the Baron still, but unbeknownst to them, the wards from CLG are actually still in their own jungle also.
Oh, CLG's not going to let them back. They're going to be going right for this, but Curse, the Shirelias, they're going to go in for Muffin Cutie.
Nice hook onto the Zyra. Melts absolutely. The ult is still up and alive though, and three members of Curse are still popped up. Boy with the swap, keeping St. Vicious in place. There's Double F actually going down in the middle of the fight. Shouts with the AoE still. Cop off on the side. Hotshot still doing huge amounts of damage, albeit being very low. TF gold card. Pick up the ace. Pick up the kill. Two members of CLG still left. Chouster actually miraculously low, but still somehow lives. And
save the Amumu, save the world. They have the one Nexus turret left.
30 seconds before anyone from Curse.NA comes back. That should be plenty of time to get the super minion into the base and get the kill in the turret and get the kill into the Nexus.
Yeah, they're going to be able to push their way down. Big Fat, he will be able to take down this Nexus turret pretty quickly. Easily going to grab that. It honestly looked like it might be one of the biggest throws in CLG history, because that last fight, once Muffin Cutie went down, he was able to get off his ultimate, and that was the key thing. You know, being able to burst them down there, it really helped out his team. That's all you need from Zyra. But he went down, and it was maybe questionable. Chouster jumping in, just a little bit of show there, but they take the game. If CLG had lost that fight, Curse might have won it. They might have been able to just bully their way through the Nexus and end the game right there. But CLG takes game number one, and a large part of it, you have to say, goes to the Nidalee. I mean, Hotshot farming effectively, and just how tanky he was. Curse just didn't have the damage to deal with him. He was just diving straight at the enemy carries. He was right in the middle of their team the entire fights, and they were never able to burst him down. Yeah, and that forced both Ezreal and Urgot to itemize into the last whisper. You notice too, Voyboy, right before the game ended, is when he bought the Muramana. Yeah. Just as the game ended, is like, hey, don't act like I didn't get that Muramana. He had no choice. He had to itemize into further armor pen. Cop getting a lot of armor pen himself, but wasn't quite able to make use of it. So not able to get out the fights with those great items. So it's I don't know, just he wasn't ready for their team fights. And that's the issue. Iceborne Gauntlet is such an expensive build. It allows you to trade very effectively. The armor makes you incredibly tanky. Cooldown reduction, everything about it is awesome. Except for the fact that it doesn't give you any AD, and it slows down your build with how expensive it is. Right. But we'll see what's going to happen in game number 2. Definitely some cool play from both of these guys. Thanks for watching, guys. This is IPLNA Royale, game number 1, CLG.NA versus Curse.NA. And the winner of this will get $500. So we'll see if CLG can turn this into a 2-0, or if Curse can bring it back, maybe bring it in their favor. We'll be back. Game number 2 on the way. We will see you in just a few minutes.